Yeah, next concept which we are going to talk about is how to derive equation of motion, okay, along a straight line. Yeah, the thing which we are going to talk about is applicable only for motion along a straight line. So please keep this fact in mind. Okay, so there are altogether three different equations for for motion along a straight line. So here I have drawn something for you, so just take a look here first. So what is written here, guys? Derivation of equation of motion, yeah, applicable only for motion of an object along a straight line. Just keep this fact in mind. This is only applicable for straight line motion. Yeah, this is very important for us to keep in mind. Suppose an object uh, moves, okay, a certain distance. Say it moves, it started with the velocity u, say u, fine. It reached destination, it is a straight line, okay, and the final velocity of the object is v. The total time spent is t, fine, okay. Just pay attention here. And it is uniformly accelerated. This is uniformly accelerated. This is uniformly accelerated body. So do you know what is uniformly accelerated? I think we have already studied what is uniformly accelerated motion. So it is something, let me tell you. Yeah, when the rate of change of velocity is constant. Here we have already studied uniformly accelerated motion. So basically, what is acceleration? Acceleration is delta v by, sorry, delta v by delta t, right? Delta v by delta t. So this particular portion should be constant during this time interval. This is again a keyword, so just keep in mind. The equation of motion which we are going to derive is applicable only for uniformly accelerated body, okay. So let us go to the diagram. See, I have drawn this entire thing here. Initial speed is u, final speed is v, time spent is t, acceleration is constant, okay. Acceleration is constant, fine. Initial speed is u, final speed v, acceleration is constant. So just before we start, tell me, this is a velocity time graph. Along y-axis we are taking velocity, and along x-axis we have taken time. So if it is uniformly accelerated, then the graph will be a straight line. Agree? We have already studied for uniform acceleration, for any uniform motion. Suppose we are given this distance time graph. So speed is uniform, right? What we can calculate from this s by t, we can calculate speed, okay. In the same way, here also this is uniformly accelerated, v by t, this is constant. So here also the same case. This is a velocity time graph and the graph is a straight line. So this tells us that this is the motion is uniformly accelerated, fine. So here we are required to calculate, we are required to derive equation of motion. So there are altogether three equations. So first one is very simple, so that is already pre-written for you. So we know what is the definition of acceleration. A equal to delta v by delta t. It will come out to be v minus u by t. V is the final speed, final velocity minus initial velocity upon time duration. Time spent is t. Very simple. So if you just shift t this side, it will become at, and shift u also, it will become plus u. So you will get v equal to u plus at. So this is first equation. Fine. Now let us try to derive equation for distance traveled. So what we have been given, we have velocity time graph with us, right? So if we want to calculate the distance traveled, so what is the way? So we have already studied that. It will be area covered under this time interval. We have already studied that. So the same thing we are going to apply here. So suppose this is so we'll draw imagine a virtual line. Okay, fine. This denotes, this is origin 0 comma 0. From 0 to this point time spent is t. Fine. And from this point to the point A it is u, and say this is point B, sorry, B is already taken, this is C point. Okay, velocity corresponding to point C is v. Okay, so distance traveled will be what? Area of this region. So this particular geometrical shape, forget everything, this particular geometrical shape, let's take a look on this, what it appears to you. It is a trapezium, very simple, and we know what is the area of trapezium. So distance traveled will be area of trapezium. Yeah, I think we should give a name also, ABC. Let us give it D and say this point as E. So what is the name of trapezium? ADEB, you can say that, ADEB. What is the formula? It is half into sum of parallel sides. What is the sum of parallel sides? This. So this is one parallel side and second parallel side is this. What is the value of this? Clearly you can say u plus, what is the value of this? It corresponds here. So its value is v. What is the height of this trapezium? T. Fine. T. Now we know one thing. We know that A equal to v minus u by t. We all know this. Fine. So if I ask you to calculate t from this, so you can easily say t equal to how much, guys? V minus u by a. Simple. So can we substitute this here, t? We can. So let us substitute this t in this equation and see what we get. It will come out to be half into u plus v into how much? V minus u by a. So if you see, so on or other way we can write it, half of v plus u into v minus u by a. So what do you see? Do you notice anything? This is a plus b into a plus b. So do you know this particular thing, a plus b into a minus b? This is a mathematical thing you must have studied in your algebra section of your maths. This will come out to be a square minus b square. We know that. Fine. The same thing we will apply here. So this is b plus u into b minus u. So what should we say? This is going to be how much, guys? B square minus u square yeah, and here is a, so if you just simplify this, you will get b square equal to u square plus 2as. We are done with the derivation of equation, second equation. Okay, we already have derived first, second. Let us see third one. So area of the trapezium we can find out um, in other way also. So we can say area of trapezium can be what? Let us divide this trapezium into two parts. A triangle, the above part is triangle and the below part is rectangle. So what is the S will be what? Area of the trapezium. That means it will be sum of the area of the rectangle. Okay, let us give some point to this f. So sum of the area of rectangle ADEF, ADEF, fine, plus sum of the area of triangle AFB, AFB. Now it is simple. I think you should be able to calculate. Tell me the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle. Very simple. Length into breadth. So what is the length available? Length is t and breadth is u. So it will come out to be ut. Fine. Plus what is the area of rectangle? Sorry, of a triangle. It is half of length into breadth. What is length? It is t, and what is breadth? See how to calculate breadth, guys. So up to this distance it is v, and this distance is u. So what is this distance, which is the height of this triangle? It is v minus u. So half of v minus u into t. Fine. Now go back to this. If I ask you to calculate v minus u from this equation, I think you can calculate that. So v minus u will be simple, 80. So we can substitute v minus u by 80 in this equation, right? So what it will be? Ut plus half 80 square. Okay, so we are done with the derivation of third equation, that s equal to ut plus half 80 square. So we have derived all the three equations which are applicable for motion of an object along a straight line with uniform acceleration. Let me write this for you. This is again a keyword, with uniform acceleration. Fine. This is keyword. This is again, there are two keywords. So why I'm putting stress on this concept is that, because suppose if you want to apply these equations for motion, so just keep these two things in mind. The motion which you are considering is the motion along a straight line. If you find yes, then fine. Is the acceleration constant? If you find both these things true, then only go ahead and apply these equations. Otherwise these equations will not be applicable for those type of motion. Fine, guys. So now I think you should be able to realize the benefit of spending time in studying this graph. Okay, in detail. I have spent a good amount of time on this. Yeah, so now I think you should be able to realize the benefit. So I've tried my best to make things simpler while you give a trial for the derivation of equation of motion. This is a very important question, so most often it is asked in your exam. So go ahead and derive it. Now the last thing is uniform circular motion. So uniform circular motion is, the definition is, speed is constant. This is the condition for uniform acceleration. Speed is constant. Uniform acceleration means the particle which is traveling, okay, across along a circular path, the particle keeps on maintaining the same speed. Yeah, so that is the only precondition for a uniform circular motion. Speed is constant. Now if I ask you, how about velocity? I think you should be able to answer now. I think we have studied it multiple times earlier also, but let me tell you. So velocity is a vector quantity, we know. It has direction associated with magnitude. The magnitude of the velocity, which is nothing but speed. The magnitude is constant, but what about direction? So let us study this as well. This is radius, guys, of this circle. At this point, if I ask you to find out the direction of velocity, what would you say? This is nothing. This is along the tangent. Now suppose after spending some time, the particle reached over here. Now in which direction the velocity will point out? The direction of the velocity will be this. So direction will keep on changing. Yeah, direction will keep on changing as the particle moves along a circular path. So seeing this or knowing this, can we say the velocity is constant? Certainly not. We should not say. So what is the reason? So because the direction of velocity when a particle traverses along a circular path is along tangent at every point of time, and we know tangent keeps on changing at every point of a circle. So that is why the velocity is not constant. Fine. In uniform circular motion, till now we studied that speed is constant. Fine. Let us denote it by speed. Okay, this is constant, but velocity, let us put a vector mark, is not constant. Why? Simply because the direction of velocity at every point of the circular track is along the tangent of the circle. Okay, so since velocity keeps on changing at every point of the circle, so that means there exists a gradient of velocity. Agree? There exists a gradient of velocity over a period of time, delta t. So we can say there is an acceleration. So this particular acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration. Okay. The direction of the centripetal acceleration is towards the center of the circle. It acts towards the center. Okay, towards the center of the circle. Towards the center of the circle. Okay, centripetal acceleration act towards the center of the circle, and the formula of centripetal acceleration is v square by r. Okay, so in short we can say in uniform circular motion speed is constant, velocity is not constant, because velocity acts along the direction of the velocity is along the tangent, okay, at every point of time. So there exists an acceleration which is called centripetal acceleration, the formula of which is v square by r. So there exists an angle of 90 degree here. So just let's see it. We know what is the angle between tangent and radius. 90 degree. So till now we studied mostly motion along a straight line. Okay, this is a bit different. Here velocity is, the direction of the velocity is along the tangent of the circle. Okay, but acceleration act towards center, and there exists an angle of 90°, means acceleration is perpendicular to the velocity. And now if I ask you to find out speed, with what speed particle traveled, how to calculate that? Or in short, if I ask you to derive the formula for speed for uniform circular motion, I think you should be able to. Let us say the radius is r. Okay, and the time which the particle is spent while traversing one round, just pay attention, while traversing one round of this circular path is t. Okay, fine. So what is the speed? Speed is nothing. Speed is distance by time. It is simple. So what is the distance which a particle cover? It is the periphery of the circle, periphery of the circle upon t. We know what is the periphery of circle. We know how to calculate it. It is 2 pi r by t. So b equal to 2 pi r by t. This is applicable for uniform circular motion. So now we are done with theory part. We have covered theory in detail. We know each and everything. Okay, we know motion. We have discussed scalar and vector quantities in detail. We have studied the physical quantities also. We have studied distance, displacement. Now we know the difference between distance and displacement. We know what is the speed, what is velocity, what is the difference between them, what all factors can affect the velocity of an object, what is uniform motion, what is non-uniform motion. We know average speed, we know average velocity, we know acceleration, right? We know different types of accelerated motion. So this is uniformly accelerated, non-uniformly accelerated. We have spent good time on this graphical study of motion. So we have studied distance time graph, displacement time graph, right? We have studied velocity time graph also, and we are able to calculate distance traveled by particle. Okay, and we have even derived the equation of motion on our own based on our concepts. Okay, and finally we have studied this uniform circular motion. So now I think we are fairly done with the theory part, and I promised to you guys at the beginning that I'll ensure the exercise questions become a cakewalk for you. So let us take the first question, guys. An athlete completes one round of a circular track, okay, of diameter is given in 40 seconds. Okay, what will be the distance covered and the displacement at the end of 2 minutes 20 seconds? Okay, we have to find out distance and displacement. So let us try to understand what the problem is talking about. So this is a circular track, okay, and you can consider that this is an object. Okay, this is an object. Yeah, I'm taking this as point A. Okay, the object is here. Yeah, suppose the object start moving clockwise in any direction. After completion of one round, what do you see? The initial position and final position becomes same, so displacement becomes 0. No displacement because initial position and final position coincide with each other. But there is distance covered by the particle. What is the distance covered by the particle? It is just one periphery of circle, that is 2 pi r for one round. Okay, so similarly, if someone asks, like, after the completion of 3 rounds, 4 rounds, or n number of rounds, how much distance a particle covers, so you can simply multiply that particular number with 2 pi r. So this is what I have done. So it is given, what are the values which is given? Given values are diameter, it is diameter 200 meter, so we know radius we can calculate, it is half of that. Capital T is 40 seconds. It says 2 meter diameter in 40 seconds. One round, capital T means it's a kind of time taken in completion of one rounds. Okay, I have denoted it with capital T. And the time duration in which we want to calculate the number of rounds completed is small t. It is given as 2 minutes 20 seconds. If you convert it into seconds, SI unit of time, it will come out to be 140 seconds. Okay, so the question is asking us to find out distance traveled and displacement of the object. So we can find out the distance. So that is very simple, there is no issue in that. Suppose the particle starts from point A. Let us consider A as a reference point. We can consider that, no problem. Number of rounds completed, how many rounds object covers, object completes, that is small t by capital T. Yeah, so it will come out to be 3.5 rounds, guys. So distance traveled at the end of one round is 2 pi r, one periphery. So this is, what is this, one periphery, sorry, this is one periphery. So at the end of 3.5 rounds, 3.5 times of 2 pi r, the value will come out to be 2200 meter. That you can calculate. Now the interesting part is to find out the displacement. After completion of 3.5 rounds, the particle, after we already discussed that after completion of one round it will reach the same point, so displacement is 0. After completion of 2 rounds, similarly n rounds. But after completion of half round, just consider, after completion of half round, what will be the position of particle? It will come just opposite to the initial position, somewhere here. What do you see? What is this distance? This distance is nothing, it's a diameter. So displacement is basically, in this case, is diameter of the circle. So we can easily answer, there is no problem. After completion of 3.5 rounds, this is what all I have written for you. After completion of 3.5 rounds, the particle reaches point B, displacement d equal to diameter at the opposite end. So it is as simple as that. So there is not a big deal. Joseph's, now let us take second question. Okay, let us take second question. What it says, Joseph jogs from one end A to the other end B of a straight 300-meter track. Okay, it says Joseph is jogging from A to B. Okay, from A to B. The length of this A to B is how much? It is given. It is given in the problem, 300 meter. 300 meter. So the value is 300 meter, guys. A to B. Fine. It says time duration is also given, 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then turns around and jogs 100 meter back to point C. This is point C. What is the distance? 100 meter. It is all given in the problem. So in 1 minute, so the problem is asking us to calculate average speed and average velocities for two set of questions while traveling from A to B and from A to C. Fine. So let us see what all are given. So it is given that time taken while moving from A to B is 2 minutes 30 seconds. It will come out to be 150 seconds. Fine. Time taken in moving from B to C will be is 60 seconds. It is also given in the problem. It is asking us to calculate average speed, average velocity, right? I think the problem is very simple because we have discussed the concepts of average speed and average velocity in detail, okay, in our theoretical parts, in our theoretical section. Just to remind you, this is average speed, which we discussed, average velocity, how to calculate it. So all these things we have discussed in detail. So I think we all have good command on that, so we can do it. Average speed, we can calculate average speed. So what is average speed? total distance covered by total time spent. Yeah, so average speed. So yeah, so for your so there is some purpose. I've solved b part first. Okay, that means I have solved this part from a to c part first. So this is b part, guys. So average speed in this b part is as total by total distance covered by total time spent. What is total distance covered? Length of AB plus length of BC. Total time spent is time taken from A to B and B to C. All the values are available and the value will come out to be 1.9 meter per second. Yeah, approximately. Now interesting part comes to when we are going to calculate average velocity. Yeah, so since we are going to analyze analyze a problem in terms of direction, because velocity is associated with direction. So it is good that we must adopt a sign convention. So we'll take a sign convention. Right side of x-axis is plus, left side is minus, and we'll continue to follow this throughout the problem. So average velocity we can calculate. What is average velocity? We know that too. So that is total displacement by total time spent. So total time spent we already have. So what is total displacement in this case? Displacement while moving from A to B and displacement while moving from A to B plus displacement while moving from B to C. These two things are there. Two things. So this is the thing. Displacement while moving from A to B and displacement while moving from B to C. The time is not a big problem, so we have already done that. First displacement is in which direction? Rightward, that means positive. So it is plus 300 plus minus 100, because second displacement, that is second movement from B to C, it has taken place leftward, that is minus 100. So while if you calculate it, it will come out to be plus 0.95. So what this plus 95 denotes? That the average velocity has taken place in the right direction, rightward. So this is what I have written, rightward. Yeah. So, yeah. Now let us jump on to calculate a part. So it is asking us to calculate the same thing, average speed, average velocities, uh, just for this part, for A to B. It is very simple. It is very simple. So now we can calculate average speed as total by total distance covered by total time spent. What is total distance covered? Length of AB plus time A to B. Yeah, guys. Length of AB we know 300, so it will come out to be 2 meter per second. Average velocity will also come out to be 2 meter per second, and it is rightward. So these two problems are very simple. Okay, so now let us jump on to third problem and let us see what the problem talks about. It says Abdul, while driving to school, computes the average speed for his trip to be 20 km per hour. On his return trip along the same route, there is less traffic and the average speed is 30 km per hour. Yeah. What is the average speed for Abdul's whole trip actually? The question is asking about that. Okay. So let us try to solve it. Okay. Okay, so this is a straight line here. This is point A and point B. Suppose A denotes Abdul's house. Okay, Abdul's house. Okay, and B denotes school. So what all quantities are given to us? What is available to us? It is given that average speed while moving from A to B. A to B is given 20 km per hour. Average speed backward, B to A 30 km per hour. What we are required to find out? Average speed for the entire trip, means to and fro. Okay. So let us try to solve it. So we will apply a very simple formula here, and that is related to the definition of the speed. Okay, let us see first what I'm going to talk about. So let us say time spent while traveling from A to B. From A to B, what is the time spent while traveling from A to B? Is t1, let us say, and time spent while returning B to A is t2. So these two values we are assuming now. Okay, so now we know that what is the speed? Speed is distance by time. We do have a speed available with us, average speed. We have assumed t. So now if I ask you to calculate distance, you can calculate, that is v into t. So we are going to apply this formula. Okay, so now we can calculate distance traveled while moving from A to B using this concept. So what is distance traveled while moving from A to B? Tell me. So it will be average speed, okay, while moving from A to B, yeah, into what is t1. It is as simple as that. What is average speed while moving from A to B? 20. So it comes out to be 20 t1. Very simple. So in the same way, what is average speed? So distance traveled while moving from B to A, it will come out to be 30 to t2. So there is one thing which is given silently in the problem that we have to apply our common sense. See, the distance which Abdul covers while moving from A to B and back, B to A, is of course same. Okay, so now we can put that particular concept in this case. Since this S A to B is equal to S B to A, yeah, so that means essentially what we are trying to calculate, t1 is equal to 32 to, yeah. So based on it, if you go ahead and find out the ratio of t1 is to t2, okay, it will come out to be 3 is to 2. Okay, 3 is to 2. That you can write 3k by 2k, no harm, kk will cancel out, you can represent. So now we have the value of t1 and t2. So let us find out average speed. What is the formula for average speed? That is total distance covered by total time spent. What is total distance covered? A to B distance, S A to B plus S B to A by total time spent. What is A to B? That is 20 t1 plus 30 t2, yeah. And what is this? This is time spent is t1 plus t2. So let us substitute this. Let us give question number to this 1. Okay, and how much the value will come out to be? So 20 into 30k, 3k, plus 30 into 2k by 3k plus 2k. So how much it is coming? 60k, sorry, 60k, 120k by 5k. If you solve it out, it will go off, k will go off, yeah. It is just for convenience. So the value of average speed will come out to be how much? 24 km/h. Again, it is a very simple problem. So now let us jump on to the next one. A motorboat starting from rest, so initial speed is given, initial velocity from rest on a lake, accelerates, there is an acceleration involved, in a straight line motion at a constant rate, means acceleration is constant. What is the value of acceleration? 3.0, means 3 meter per second square. It is given. time duration is also given 8 seconds. It is asking us to calculate how far distance traveled. Okay, so we know, we do have an idea of this particular thing. Derivation of equation of motion applicable only for motion of an object along a straight line with uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration means constant acceleration. So these equations of motions we can apply here. This is a very simple problem. So let us see what is the value which are available to us. The values which are available are, so this is the straight line motion. Okay, initial speed 0, acceleration is given 3 meter per second square, time duration is, we are asked to calculate distance traveled. So which formula we can use? This 3, from this 3 we can go for this one. We do have UTA. Let us apply that. Okay, so S equal to UT plus half AT square. Okay, so this will go off because UT will go off. Yeah, UT will go off. Why? Because U is 0. So it is simple, half into 3 into 8 square. So it will come out to be 96 meter. Simple. We are done with fourth part. Guys, this is a small question from my side. Okay, just to check your level of understanding. So in this problem we are done with the calculation of average speed. Okay, see, average speed, Abdul moved from point A to point B and then B to A. Yeah, if I ask you to find out what is the value of, yeah, can you tell me what is the value of, can we calculate the value of average velocity? If I asked you to find out, can you calculate for me? So of course you should be able to calculate what it should be. Average velocity is what? Total displacement by total time taken. Yeah, what is total displacement? Let's find out. Abdul moved from A to B and then back to the same position. So essentially there is no displacement. The value of displacement is 0. 0 by whatever, it will come out to be 0. So in this case average velocity is 0, but there is significant value for average speed. Again, it demonstrates a big difference in the concept of average speed and average velocity.